I know it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but new legislation would regulate the development of artificial intelligence in Texas. This is Friday, December 27th, 2024.
Texas Scorecard presents the day's first news for the Lone Star State, the Texas Minute, with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Welcome to Friday. Thanks for starting the end of your week here with the Texas Minute. Despite efforts to rein in the woke tendencies of Texas's colleges and universities, additional work is needed in 2025. More on that coming up. With the legislature set to convene on January 14th, fiscal responsibility advocates are pressing for lawmakers to follow through on a ban to end taxpayer-funded lobbying. Taxpayer-funded lobbying refers to a common practice among cities, counties, and school districts that hire lobbyists with local tax revenue. These lobbyists then work to advance policies that benefit local governments, often at the expense of citizens. A 2019 poll by the Texas Public Policy Foundation showed that 88% of Texans oppose the practice. A recent study by the Huffines Liberty Foundation revealed that local government spent about $75 million on registered lobbyists in 2021, not including the salaries of in-house lobbyists and funds funneled to pro-government associations such as the Texas Municipal League and the Texas Association of School Boards, meaning the actual cost of taxpayer-funded lobbying is much higher. The issue is also a priority for the Republican Party of Texas in 2025. A legislative proposal would require schools to notify parents if a teacher or other employee observes their child engaging in acts of self-harm. Those actions range from substance abuse to self-inflicted cutting or burning. Republican State Representative Nate Schatzline of Fort Worth would also require public schools to notify parents if a student expresses gender confusion through words or behavior. Legislation that would regulate and chart the course for the development of artificial intelligence in the Lone Star State has been proposed in the House. Republican State Representative Giovanni Capriglione of Southlake would require companies to disclose whether they're using AI, establish guidelines to prevent bias, and protect personal data. His legislation would also prohibit AI systems from manipulating human behavior, engaging in social scoring, capturing biometrics, or inferring emotions without consent. Now, as you might remember, earlier this month, Attorney General Ken Paxton launched a massive investigation into 15 tech companies, including the Google-backed AI app known as Character.ai. The probe revolves around those companies' privacy practices related to children using their services. It is a bold new world indeed. The Texas Minute will be right back.
The media has an agenda, and having seen behind the curtain, I can tell you it's not what's in your best interests. That's why I started the Salo Storm podcast every weekday. Real talk for real Texans. The Salo Storm podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Months into an ongoing investigation into higher education, Robert Montoya is finding that Texas's public universities and colleges remain in need of operational and governance reform. He finds that far-left ideologies are alive and well in Texas universities. While some legislative action has been taken to curb the excesses, these institutions still seem to spend as much time indoctrinating students as educating them, and all of it being subsidized by taxpayers. Texas universities also continue to be targets for hostile governments seeking to influence both policy and culture. The influence of nations like Qatar and China on the state's universities has been well documented, and given the roles of Texas A&M and the University of Texas as defense contractors, these ties have been raising concerns both in Austin and in Washington, D.C. Just as critical has been the rise of faculty and staff who work to undermine Texas values. Through the unconstitutional and undefined shared governance model, these faculty members, rather than the gubernatorially appointed and senatorially confirmed regents, have set themselves over the institutions of higher education. You can check out Robert Montoya's ongoing work, as well as learn about the other stories mentioned today by visiting TexasScorecard.com. If you enjoy the Texas Minute, please consider making a tax-deductible end-of-year donation to Texas Scorecard by visiting texasscorecard.com. That's texasscorecard.com. And of course, we'd appreciate it if you'd tell your friends and family about our work. This edition of the Texas Minute was produced by Walker York. It was based on the original reporting of Sidney Henry, Valerie Munoz, Luca Cacciatore, and Robert Montoya. I look forward to seeing you out around the Lone Star State. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for listening to the first news of the day for the Lone Star State. This has been the Texas Minute with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.